Hi. Whew. How's everybody doing? Just pop on, say hello. If you're watching the replay, say hello. Just want to check in. I'm going to try sharing. Let's see, just to this live feed. Place Lightworker live feeds. See if there's any other amazing places to share it to. Not necessarily. Just wanted to give one share for me. So, this is kind of like a serious topic. This talking about PTSD, how it connects up with our past lives. So I welcome everybody to come in. If you're listening and learning, that's great. If you want to join in the conversation, that's amazing too. I'm very excited to talk about this. So I'm getting a few people joining. So most of you guys know I've been working in doing past life healing, for a couple of years now. And a lot of it has been removal of prosperity blocks, and there's a lot of that going on out there. Get rid of your vows of poverty, getting rid of things that people they say to themselves, it's a personality block. The most common one of those is going along with what everybody wants, maybe being overly obedient in certain circumstances, not feeling like you can really stand in your power and say what you want to say. So I release all that. I've been doing that. It's been so lovely. It's been very rewarding. And I just keep going deeper because I'm like, okay, I don't know. It's not like I'm not happy with that. It's fantastic. I'm very happy with that. But life experiences take you certain places. One of them for me was my third childbirth being a C-section. And it didn't give me any PTSD. I actually had a wonderful C-section. It was amazing. It was a little more rushed than I would have liked if I could have planned the whole thing. But after you have two kids, the good old fashioned natural way, with not much but you and the baby and a midwife, it's a little bit surprising. So I just got shown a whole different world of women having a lot of trauma around childbirth. And I joined a few groups about C-section moms, and a lot of that is the unexpected part of the C-section, the out of control part, and it brings on this level of PTSD in some of these women. So I'm seeing it. Of course, I have known about PTSD in one of the very, very common, very sad forms is all of our military. Almost everybody that's done some sort of service comes home with PTSD. Okay, it's more surprising if you don't. And that's really sad. That's really sad. Hi, Jasmine. Hello. So good to see you on here today. So I was reading in another book that I've picked up, really diving a little bit deeper into crystals, using crystals to help heal past life stuff, giving people stuff they can do at home, but also integrating that in just my overall knowledge, okay? Because I like tapping into the Akashic Records, and that works amazing, and I have crystals all around me, but it's like, I just go for what I'm guided to. So these books jump out to me, and also reading books on tapping, doing different tapping techniques, EFT, for past life healing and recovery. So all of this, and all of a sudden PTSD started popping in my head. And the reason why I guess I'm doing a lot of reading also in general, like I'm researching for dreams for my summer school course that I'm hosting in July, and a lot of that talks about scenarios in a past life. Well, in a past life, this happened to the person, and then this lifetime, this was occurring, especially after this event happened. They traveled to a certain place, or they had a baby, or they went to war and they came back. And so it triggered in my head. There's that trigger. It was like, oh my goodness, something is going on here. And so I did a little meditating and I did a little connecting. I read a little bit deeper in a few of my books, and this epiphany came through, this thought process of, okay, so we have, let's talk about moms. Let's talk about moms and the way they feel traumatized after certain types of births. The way, sometimes they even feel, and they have every right to, I'm not discounting the way a person feels. They feel maybe assaulted, or if they had a sexual assault earlier in life, in this lifetime, and then they had this experience with a rough OB, or they didn't feel the connection and the care during that experience, it will bring it all back up. And that's a whole bunch, that's like present life PTSD, okay? But I think these things happen to us because of past life experiences. And let's just say before doctors could come and perform a C-section, there were a lot more women that were dying in childbirth. I know women are supposed to, our bodies know how to birth a baby, and there's all that. But on my third baby, if I didn't have a C-section, that little baby might not be here today. My placenta was detaching. I was bleeding, and I was not in labor. I was 2 weeks away from my due date. Like bleeding, like worse than a period, like a lot. I'm using these cups now for periods, and so visually I'm like, whoa, that was a lot worse than a period. Yeah, okay, I won't go into the detail, but you see how much comes out of one of those cups, and you're like, whoa, it's like coming back to me what happened 10 months ago when I went to the bathroom and all of a sudden there was blood everywhere. I needed a C-section. Let's say there were no doctors around, what we might hope for is that I would eventually go into labor, okay? But if not, the placenta would detach, the baby would be gone, it'd still be inside of me, and I'd still be bleeding, okay? So where's the mom going to go in this experience way back in the day, okay? Where's the mom going to go? I'm getting chills because this is very likely my story. So jump back into a past life, hypothetically. And guys, this is how you can, I get all these questions like, how do you trust the information, the visions you get? And I'm not like trancing out on visions. I get like snippets of ideas of information. And for a while I'm like, am I making this up? This scenario in my head? Like it's coming to me as I'm talking this out and I'm telling the story. And it's like, of course I'm either making it up or I'm allowing my imagination to receive the information that it needs in order to verify this experience and also help me heal from the unexpected C-section after 2 very lovely childbirths. I have to say, I really liked childbirth. I'm one of the few people. So I'm lucky that I got a good C-section and I got good natural births too. So I'm really lucky. I might not have said that, 9 months ago. A month when I was still feeling like my body was cut open. So let's go back to past life. Let's say I died while trying to have a baby in a past life, and I carry all of this emotion, and maybe there was somebody there that was trying to support me, okay, this OB, all right, that I didn't even know, that I moved to this town like sometime in the last 3 years, okay, and I didn't even know I was going to have a third child. Like, he slipped in under the radar, guys. He really did. My second child was midwife, beautiful delivery, amazing delivery. I was up like running around right after. First one, amazing delivery. Okay, so let's just say, hypothetically speaking, me and this OB that I had, maybe we had a past life together, and I carried this anger to my grave about this person letting me down. I died during childbirth. Let's just say that happened, okay? And I come into this lifetime and I get this opportunity, and oh my gosh, free will moves me to this town, and there's this person that I was connected with in a past life. This is how we're all connected so deeply. And I get the opportunity to live through a different experience. Her soul gets to save me, hypothetically speaking. I get to be saved. I get to receive the medical care that I would have needed in a past life. Okay? So I know there's so much, and I think there's a lot of souls that come through that did, women that have died during childbirth. I think there's soldiers that there's souls that died as soldiers, okay? They died in the battlefield. They died, and they choose to come back, And like nobody in their family will be military, and these people will be like, I'm going in the military, like from like a young age. They're like, this is what I'm going to do. I have a drive for it. I mean, there are just some people that do that, for example, and they go off and they become a war hero, and they get shot and crazy shit happens to them. But it's a totally different lifetime than the previous one where they were killed in the battlefield and they felt fear or like some sort of disgrace that they couldn't have, that they failed their mission or whatever it might be. They let their unit down or whatever it is. Okay. So there's this incredible amount of possibility saying you're going to reincarnate because you have this emotional response when you pass away in one lifetime. And you carry that over, your soul feels very, I mean, I can't guarantee this is how it feels, but it's why we reincarnate to work this stuff out. So it has to feel fragmented. If it didn't feel good about things, like why redo it? Why play out the scenario again? It has to say, I want to heal. I choose. I see here. I can make a choice. You know, I can go back in there. I can go into the military. I can be the war hero. I can do that. I can make the choice. Sadly enough, there's still people that go and they're a war hero and they come home and they have intense PTSD. It's still a side effect. So that's where somebody that can come in and potentially work through the energetic connection of that PTSD in a past life, and then also through the emotional connection that it's got on that person in the present life, through some of these soul realignment sessions that I do. And I have a feeling that there's a reason I had this epiphany, that it's leading me down the path. So I'm really excited to start kind of exploring that. And I wanted to come out because I'm very transparent. I know that I have friends out there that are suffering from PTSD, or they know someone that's suffering from PTSD. So maybe it's not the right time to speak out on a live stream and say, hey, this is me and this is my story, but reach out to me because I would like to talk with you. I would like to find out, what you've done as far as emotional therapy for it, as far as metaphysical new age therapies. A lot of people are doing a lot of things to work on their PTSD. They're taking ownership of it and they're working through those shadows. And I think that's really important. And I also see that there's a lot of people that aren't able to. They get so stuck in it. They get so triggered. Let's go back to the moms, for example, in these moms groups that I'm part of, that I see, because that's one thing I felt really compelled to go help mothers after I had the C-section. And I kind of like emotionally recovered from it rather well. I'm telling you, like, I like childbirth so much that when I was unexpectedly found myself pregnant a third time, I was like, oh my gosh, at least I get to have a baby again. Like, I get to actually birth the baby. Oh, the natural high that comes after that, it is, you can't capture it again. I don't think so. I mean, nowhere in my unnatural period of becoming high before I had babies did I even come close to that kind of feeling you have after you do that. And maybe that feeling, that high, that comes out when a good surgeon gets the right person in their operating room, and she's like me, says, yes, let's do the C-section. I see the blood. I know my baby needs to come out. Everything says he can come out. It's 38 weeks, cooking. Let's get this baby out, and everything goes well. Maybe there's that natural high for her. So I was able to give her that even when I didn't get it, because you don't get the same natural high with the C-section. You don't. It's totally true. I mean, you can't walk for like 24 hours. You have a catheter. It's not the same. So I healed from it rather quickly. I use humor. I really try to look on the bright side of things. I know part of my spiritual journey had led me to that point, like understanding cause and effect and just saying, okay, this happens for a reason, even if it's not a past life reason. It's like, okay, let's try to figure out how I can use this to serve other people and to help inspire other people. And so that was initially, was going to talk to moms and finding out how they're healing and how are they dealing with it. Because it's sad when they hear about the birth of their cousin's baby. That's natural, and it makes them cry, and it makes them lock themselves in their room for a period of time, because it brings everything back, from an experience that didn't go the way it was supposed to, and they formed this trauma and they have stress and they have anxiety and they have PTSD because of it. So, there's a long way to go. I'm not a professional therapist, but I'm an energetic healer, and I have a feeling that once you've tried a lot of other things, if it calls out to you the same way it would call out to somebody to get one of my soul realignment sessions, I'm just so excited to offer this sort of service out there. So I have a few more readings to deliver today while my husband is watching our kiddos. So I just wanted to leave this live stream out there so that people can maybe go to it and watch it and share it. I'm also going to put it on my YouTube page so that it can be sort of there and easy to find. So if you have any questions on working on an energetic solution to PTSD, so I've looked up crystals. There's crystals that you can get, and just certain, like they call it, you lay yourself on the ground and you do a crystal grid basically on you. And so I'm going to work with you on that. Also tapping. So if you know a little bit about tapping, it really has helped me with my anxiety, although I'm not a pro at it. However, I can encourage someone to learn and to experience it and see how it works with them and walk them through that sort of process of your, the statements you make while you're tapping, and then finally, as you go through the different rounds, how you change those statements. Let me see what Jasmine says. Yeah, Jasmine. So thank you for telling your story. And yes, postpartum depression is like, if you don't get PTSD, and not all women suffer from PTSD, postpartum depression is so super common, and it's even higher in cesarean sections. And then another thing, just the bonding with the baby. That's another thing the guides are telling me is it's so much more difficult sometimes to have that feeling, because you're dealing with a lot of emotions on the inside, and then all of a sudden you either have to bottle all that up and care for a baby, or you can process it and then like have this baby like while you're trying to process some really heavy stuff. And I know there's a lot of women, Jasmine, that like, and I'm not sure how you feel about it, but they don't ever want to have a baby. They don't ever want to have another baby again, because it is such a traumatic situation. And I want to help, well, I mean, the world has a lot of babies and a lot of kids, but I want to help women not be afraid of that experience. And yes, if you feel violated, so these strong feelings like a violation, a lot of times it's these strong feelings are what carry over from a past life. So there's going to be a situation you could dive a little bit deeper into it, and find out. So, and I know, Jasmine, you and I have talked about doing some of our sessions as well, and I can totally incorporate and sort of like, anytime you get one of my soul realignment sessions, for anybody that's curious, but I can cater, like I can go in totally open-ended, and find out anything that your soul feels like you need to release in order to align with your path and purpose. Okay. I can also go in there with a little bit more of a targeted focus as well. And that's totally okay. Either way, we get plenty of stuff to work on. Plenty. So yes, it's all a process of healing, and it's not something that even if I was, going to prescribe crystal therapy and soul realignment and tapping and some light regression work, even if I was to prescribe all of that for someone, I don't think that you can put a time frame on it. You can just, every single time you feel a reoccurrence of experiencing the emotions that bring on the different deep triggers for you. Every time that you go there, then you go to your resources, you get your crystals out, you lay down, you start tapping, even as you're laying on the ground with crystals all over you. I mean, at a certain point, this would be one of the tools that you have, the way it was so prevalent recently to just give moms, like I don't know all the names of them, but give them a Xanax or like a whatever to calm them down, or this and that and the other. You know, I'm not sure that's right, because if you're having a baby, sometimes you can't take certain things. But it was just so much more prevalent. Those were the tools that we had. But now we're all awakening, we're all sort of growing, and we're coming away from the point where we don't want to numb ourselves. However, we need to discover tools that can help us energetically so that we don't feel driven to those different devices for numbing us out. I mean, I do it too. I pop on the TV and I watch like something that I don't have to think about. Like, it's not necessarily drinking a lot or doing any extra drugs or doing anything like that, but it's still like a way to numb out. So it's healthy. Maybe it would be better for me to crystal grin and tap it out, but my husband, he likes TV because it's like me time, or us time, I should say. To me, I'd love to have another one to have that experience. Yes, if it's meant to be. Yes. See, that's so good. That's so good. And you know, if my C-section, if I took this particular experience, my third C-section, and put it immediately first, absolutely, I would be all about another one and and going for that VBAC, the vaginal birth after cesarean, because it wasn't traumatic for me. It was unexpected. I've done a lot of understanding that, you know, is unexpected, and it gave me an enormous amount of perspective, so much perspective, and it introduced me to another level of healing that the people that I am drawn to, moms, families, these are the levels of healing that they need. So I would feel super comfortable working with a female, no matter what type of PTSD she had. Like, I'm still opening up my energy healing practice to men on a slow basis. I just feel more connected to women. That's where I'm at. I'm like totally in that space. So yes, Jasmine, if it's meant to be, and there's so much healing that you can take advantage of now, so that if the universe aligns and that's a possibility, you don't do it just in the 9 months preceding the birth of that new child. You can actually spend that time connecting to the child and not recovering or having fear, flashbacks, all this sort of thing. So it's really beautiful. It's really an amazing process. But I would be kind of encouraging you to go out there with different tools on how to work with it, as well as doing some energy healing for you. So if it calls out to you, please reach out to me. Let's talk for a little while before. I always like to chit chat on Messenger to find out more specifically about you, because it is real personal what I'm doing. It's different for everybody, and I learn every single time I do a clearing session for somebody. I learn a lot. And then I go read like 5 or 10 more books in a year, and I learn a lot. So I'm so glad I'm able to use this space and have you guys jump on, you ladies. Please share this video if you feel called, and I can't wait to connect with you guys again.